Dana, how you doing today? Thank you for talking to me about the Big Red One. Is that where we're talking about today? Yes.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay, we're talking about two things actually. Now, I was looking through this, and there's a game that you coming out with, and a book that's already out. So the question is, what came first, the chicken or the egg here?
Okay. All right. The background story on this whole thing, really briefly, is that I've worked with Keith Rocco, who's a military artist well known for his American Civil War and Napoleonic artwork. I've worked with him since the 1990s. And all of a sudden, during COVID, with everything being shut down, the new curator or manager of the Big Red One Division Museum outside of Chicago said, our murals on D-Day, because the Big Red One, the 1st Infantry Division, was at Omaha Beach along with the 29th Infantry and some Rangers. And it's a really big deal because that was one of the leading elements on D-Day, June 6, 1944. Well, they wanted to change and update all of the murals that they had in the museum. Two big murals, one for June 6th, one on June 7th, the next day. And they said, who are we going to get to do this? And somebody said, hey, you need to get Keith Rocco, who was raised in Chicago, went to the Chicago Institute of Art, and was obviously well known by all the guys at the museum. And so the guy that was the new director of the museum said, okay, let's contact him. Now, this is interesting because Keith really hadn't done much World War II or modern art. Okay. It was always American Civil War or Napoleonic. But when they got together with them and they showed them what they needed done, basically the stuff was really badly out of date. Okay. And it also wasn't designed originally to be, I guess, inclusive of a lot of people that deserve to get attention besides the Big Red One on D-Day. So what happened was Keith was finishing up all this stuff, and there are pictures you can see on my website and also in the book that show Keith working on these murals. It took months. He did research. He actually talked to survivors that are still alive. He was working with the staff of the museum and their research library. The bottom line is that he came together with an incredible book that we call, the Big Red One
Mhm.
on D-Day.
112
Okay.
pages long, right?
Pardon?
112 pages long, right?
Yes, 112 pages. There's a picture of Keith, doing the artwork, in the museum. And the book consists of lots of artwork of Keith. There's a picture of a famous rock on the beach that has a plaque on it. And there are some maps in there to give people an idea of exactly what happened on the invasion. There's a lot of artwork that Keith did that ended up in the book. It tells a story. It's sort of a hardcover graphic novel, but it's not like, a superhero. It's not like ha ha comic, okay? It's a graphic novel or a graphic history of the invasion of D-Day at Omaha Beach, featuring the 1st Infantry Division. Now, what happened is he did these two giant murals. And in order for you to see the entire mural, um, we printed these murals that go along with it. Okay. There are kiosks right in front of the actual museum mural that tell you what you're looking at. But, we put on numbered for each section so you can tell what you're looking at, who's doing what, and while he was working with another person on another project, that person, who's a videographer and a historian, did this poster for us, which was the German side, because everything that Keith was doing was for the American 1st Infantry Division on D-Day. But this one, done by this other guy, basically shows the the way that the fortifications at Omaha Beach looked, the German fortifications, so you get an idea of just how terrible this was to try and assault. And then I wrote up several what ifs with the maps. And I think if you can see it, you can see on the far side the British, two British and one Canadian beach, Sword, Juno, and Sword Juno and Sword, and and down this tiny little one. You see that Omaha? How tiny it is.
Okay.
And then there was Utah Beach at the very end of the American second beach that was assaulted. So all of this comes with that hardcover book.
This wraps up part one of The Big Red One. This book is available at lombardistudios.com at the link down below, and this series continues with more context, more analysis, and more stories ahead.